in order to make seeds using two females, one of the females needs to be reversed, right? So there needs to be,
Yeah.
there's several different ways to actually reverse a female plant in order for it to start showing those male parts, pollen sacs, and start releasing pollen. What method do you use to create, well, I should say, what method do you use to reverse a plant so it starts
Hmm.
producing pollen sacs? If I remember correctly, I tuned into one of your videos on your YouTube channel. Is it silver thiosulfate?
Yes, it is. And, there's colloidal silver and silver thiosulfate, which are both hormone blockers that block the female hormones in a plant from expressing themselves. And then it leaves the plant when it goes into flowering with the only option being to make male flowers instead of female flowers because you've suppressed all the female hormone and only the minor amount of male hormone that's still in the plant is going to then express itself through male flowers on a female plant. And the way in my seminars that I had done for a few years at the shows, I was always explaining that feminized seeds got a bad reputation early on in the early 2000s, late 1990s, when people started making feminized seeds. They realized that, now this is a really important point, so I'll take a moment just to really drill down on it, but the reason that you're getting all female seeds, in theory, from crossing the two plants, is that a female doesn't have a Y chromosome, only X's. And to get males, you need an X and Y chromosome to make a seed that's going to make a male plant. And so earlier on, the mistake that was being made was that they would stress a female plant to the point of making it throw off male flowers. But all they've really done in that case is discover that that plant is a hermaphrodite. Okay. And that is a trait that will be carried on in the genes and the offspring. So what ended up happening was that people would buy what they thought were feminized seeds, and perhaps the lion's share of them may have become female plants when the seeds were grown, but a handful at least, or some percentage of them, were being hermaphrodites. And then a hermaphrodite is like the worst thing because you think it's female and then it's in flowering with all the other females, and suddenly it starts throwing male flowers and making pollen and ruining the rest of the crop and producing seeds in what should have been a seedless crop. And so that was a major problem, and people would just say, avoid feminized seeds. You're just going to get a bunch of Hermes, okay? And I felt at that time, I felt like, okay, yeah, let's stay away from doing that. And when I created Cinderella 99, it was not feminized. It was just what we call regular seed. Regular meaning these seeds are probably, if you have enough seeds, going to turn out to be 50% male, 50% female. And so that's how I started out. And it took me until like 2015, roughly, to start having enough motivation, and pardon me, motivation from the people that I was selling my seeds to, that they wanted all feminized seeds. And I said, well, I'm a little hesitant about doing it. I don't want to introduce Hermes, when one of my claims to fame on all of my strains up to that point had been that they never Hermy. And that's because I was really careful in choosing the parents to be non-hermaphroditic plants. And so when I looked into making feminized seeds, I said, I got to do this right. I can't have that same issue that was causing problems with other breeders where they're making Hermes. And so I did some research. The internet was alive and strong at that point, and I could drill down and look at medical journals and scientific journals and so on. And what I did was I researched hermaphroditism. And I found that it's caused not by a chromosomal source. The problem didn't come from the chromosomes. It comes from hormones. And if it made a light bulb go off in my head, I said, but of course, when even human beings that are trans, that they feel I'm really a male in a female body, or vice versa, how do they shift themselves to that other gender? It's through a hormonal process, right? they don't go inside and try and change your chromosomes and change you from X or XY to the other. So I said, okay, well, there's what's happening then, is it's a hormonal thing that makes a hermaphrodite. Now, most of the hermaphrodites are discovered because through stress, most of the time it's a light cycle stress, where the light cycle is changed from long days and short days back and forth, and it confuses the plant, and then it ends up throwing male flowers on a female. And so I said, well, this is what they were doing wrong, is that they were stressing plants and finding a female that under stress would create male flowers, and then they were using the pollen from them to make the seeds, which obviously is going to give you more hermaphrodites. And what they were really thinking, and this is what my original point that I was trying to drive toward, is that by using two females, the female doesn't have a Y chromosome. Therefore, you can't make male seeds. You're going to only have X and X. However, an X and X can still produce a hermaphrodite. Okay? And so there was the problem. And my big discovery was, if you can find a female that doesn't hermaphrodite under any stressful conditions, it would still respond to hormonal treatment. If you hormonally block the female hormone from expressing itself, the plant will grow male flowers on a pure female, not a hermaphrodite. Because what was happening was the stress would induce the hormones in the plant to then freak out and make male flowers. So I would like to find a female that doesn't, under any stressful conditions, create any male flowers. And then I know I've found myself a true female that will not harm me. And then when you find a second one that's a desirable mate for the first one, and they both are proven to be pure female, you can take either one of them and spray them with the silver thiosulfate, which is a chemical block for the female hormone, and it only lets the male hormone express itself. And then you'll get male flowers on a pure female, and then you can cross the two and get 100% female seeds, and that's what I do. And even though I've stood up on stages all over the country in different events and explained this in an hour-long seminar, most people still didn't get it. It went over their head somehow, you know. And it's like when I learned how to, I figured out the Rubik's Cube in 1980 when it first came out. And I started trying to show my friends, and they were like, man, I can't do that, no matter how long you explain it to me. So I've just accepted that sometimes in my life I've got things that I figure out that even if I explain it to somebody, they still don't get it. And so I think it's not that difficult or that hard to understand, but my life has kind of proved otherwise, that many people just don't get it. But that is the key. That is the trick right there, is that you've got to start with plants that are not hermaphroditic, and then hormonally induce one of them to produce pollen, cross it to the other one, and you will get 100% pure female seeds. And so that's what I do today. And I love, as I said earlier, the predictability of crossing two females. You really have a much more predictable result. You can see from the qualities of the two parents what the offspring should carry, or what they'll be like. And so hopefully that explains that.
Yeah, you explained it very well, beginner-friendly manner, in my opinion. And yeah, I get it. It's going to go over some people's heads, I'm sure. We do have a lot of beginners that tune into this podcast, but they should be able to grasp some of it from there. Now, really good information when you mention that if you take a female plant and simply stress it, sure, it's going to show male parts, but if you use that pollen on another plant, a female plant, you pollinate that plant, well, then the likelihood of those seeds being hermaphrodites are very high. And I'm glad you emphasized that, because that practice is still being trained to this day as being a legitimate way to get fertilized seeds.
I can't understand how anybody could ever have heard the truth and then they still try that method, because it's so obviously wrong. All you've done is you've stressed a female and you've proven, hey, look, this one's a Hermy. Let's breed with it. No, don't do that. You want to do exactly the opposite. You want to find the plants that under no circumstances will they ever Hermy, but you can still make them make male flowers by hormonal induction. And so that's what I do.
This clip is brought to you by VivoSun. Use discount code MrGrow15 to save on any of their gardening products. Go to the full episode by clicking the outro card here, or click the link in the description section below. Catch you in the next video.